Are we live? Are we live? What's going on? It's Talking Giants live stream day 2 of the Senior Bowl. Day 4 of me being here, day 3 of you guys being here. Feels like we've basically moved to Alabama at this point. We're going to answer some questions. We're going to talk some Giants. We're going to answer some questions. Was in the rain all day, and I'll be honest, it wasn't the most fun. I was basically at the end rooting for the practices to end because I was just like, I want to be out of this rain. Where yesterday the practices could have lasted for 5 hours and I wouldn't have complained.
Well, also I screwed up because I was so excited to watch O-line, D-line that I did that yesterday in the dry, and today tried to do wide receivers, DBs in the rain, which was really stupid because I saw almost nothing of value in the first practice.
But you got to watch O-line, D-line day one. Like that for me, it's like I have to watch O-line, D-line day. But we did. I learned some things about the wide receiver group. So if we get some wide receiver questions in here. The DBs,
DBs are hard.
Yeah, DBs are tough, and I didn't have a great. But I will say before we get into some questions, well, I'll say, Justin, how are you?
Hi, everybody. Doing well. Having a good time in Alabama. Tomorrow,
I will say we are having a good time.
We are having a good time. We're really enjoying each other's company while we're getting stuff done all together. So I hope you've been enjoying whatever coverage that you've been consuming. Tomorrow morning we'll have out the day 2 recap. Will there be a day 3 recap? I don't think so.
Yeah, it looks like we're not going to be able to go to the practice, although I am thinking about just going and seeing what happens.
Okay.
Because what's the worst case scenario?
Just tell us no.
Yeah.
So then we just turn around and drive 5 minutes away.
Yeah. Like maybe we should get some team gear for the Texans or something.
I was gonna say I have a Giants hoodie that I brought with me to sleep in. I'll just wear it. There's a bleach stain on it. I don't know if that's gonna work.
Like the security guards don't know that this is on they're not going to assume that people who aren't supposed to be there aren't going to show their. So we just flash a badge. Yeah, I look like I'm big enough to be some type of scout or something. And I think we could just roll right in.
We got a good question about, so there was rain today, and that was probably, the main theme of the day.
Yeah.
It's funny, they would warm up and the weather would be great. And then the second that, okay, let's take out our phones, let's start getting some clips, let's start writing down some notes, get out the pen, paper. And then the second they started doing anything important, it just fucking rained.
It downpoured in the first. Yeah. Like I was looking at the clips, and because I was wearing like a hat and a hood, I didn't realize just how much it was raining. There was like rain all in my clips.
Yeah.
Like
so Wes asks a good question. Do you put any weight into players who performed well in the rain today, since MetLife isn't a tropical paradise?
I don't really get into that, honestly. Like receivers were dropping balls, but it's hard for me to get into that. But what I will say is that, can we just start at the top with Malik Willis?
Go ahead.
Sure.
He looked much better. He didn't have the misses that he had on day 1.
He also had more touch today.
Yeah, he looked like QB1 in this class. Obviously, you don't want to judge it all off the Senior Bowl, but we did kind of come into this, Justin, and saying like, hey, we're gonna watch these QBs because the entire class besides Matt Corral is a down here. We're going to watch these QBs, and we're going to let kind of the Senior Bowl go into the film and see, help form what we're doing, maybe more so than other players. Because it's more of an equal playing field. There's, you don't have Kenny Pickett having all day to throw. You don't have Malik Willis beating up on lower competition but being totally outmatched with his other players against really good competition, like in teams like Ole Miss. Malik Willis looks like the best quarterback by far. Like Kenny Pickett struggled today. Sam Howell, you could argue that Sam Howell was better than Kenny Pickett today, even though he wasn't perfect. But Malik Willis was not. It was in the rain, and Malik Willis was not missing. He was hitting guys on timing routes, like that's a bang bang play right in the middle of his zone. Malik Willis, I was just outside for a second collecting my thoughts, and I was like, man, would I pick him in the top 10? I probably wouldn't at this point. Probably not brave enough to say that quite yet. But if he was there in the second round, because that was a conversation, if he just somehow happened to be there at the second round, I wouldn't even think twice about picking Malik Willis.
Yeah, Grump, you were talking about how the bar isn't necessarily very high for Malik Willis compared to the rest of the competition at the Senior Bowl. And the one thing that Willis needed to do this week, or I would say there were some things that he needed to prove that he can do. And one of those things was not just being a fastball thrower, not just being a guy that can zip the ball in there. It's like, oh, great. We know that you have that tremendous arm strength, but can you do the touch throws? And there were some, routes that were going over the middle of the field, like in breaking routes or, crossing routes, whatever, in the intermediate part of the field, where he just put touch on it. And it's like, oh, that's fun. That's nice. That's something that we want to see. Calm, control, cool, collected, delivering throws in stride. Not everybody's perfect. There weren't all throws that were perfect for him today. He was better today than he was yesterday. But again, seeing the things that we needed to see out of Malik Willis to try and be convinced that he's a guy possibly worth taking, it's happening. So
the Senior Bowl is a day-by-day thing. It's about what you learn and reapplying it the next day and then doing that again and again and again. And today he took some juice out of his fastball, and that was a good thing for him. He also just looked more comfortable, like you said, hitting on timing routes. He was not escaping as much as he was yesterday either. I mean,
no, the only time he did was when it was like the pocket collapsed immediately type things.
Yeah. But also the other quarterbacks looked a little bit better today than they did yesterday also.
Sam Howell definitely did. Kenny Pickett I thought looked worse.
I even like Bailey Zapp looked better today.
Yeah.
Not that he looked great, but yesterday he was like overthrowing everybody yesterday. So it was like every wide receiver that ran with him, it was kind of worthless.
And then Carson Strong kind of looked bad again. Riddler, I guess an okay day. But Malik Willis definitely seems like the best QB here. So let's start getting into some questions.
Yeah, and his ceiling just seems so intriguing. And I think the way I think everybody thinks about the NFL changes year by year. And now, especially since Tom Brady isn't in the mix, where he's like that one constant of Tom Brady making the Super Bowl, Tom Brady winning the Super Bowl, Tom Brady making the Super Bowl just year after year after year. So now we kind of get the chance to see, well, what is successful in the NFL? Like what are the trends of NFL teams when you don't have arguably the greatest athlete of all time? And I think what you're seeing, you're seeing rookies on their rookie contracts, rookie QBs and that are on their contracts that are being successful with their teams, but also just guys, the great escapability, the improvisation, and guys that Kirk Cousins shouldn't be the ceiling. And for a guy like Kenny Pickett, let's just say safe. But again, you feel like the ceiling there is Kirk Cousins, whereas Malik Willis, you just flat out don't know, and that's what makes him so exciting. So his ceiling just seems so intriguing. K-Hawk, you're totally right.
All right, let's start opening it up to some questions.
Yeah,
some other quick Giants stuff. Tyke Tolbert went to the Bears. I don't necessarily going to miss him. I feel like he got kept on with the Joe Judge staff because Darius Slayton, his rookie season, and I don't know, like Tyke Tolbert. One of the beat reporters talked about Tyke Tolbert hating the back shoulder throw, and that kind of turned me off.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like hearing that.
Tyke Tolbert. It's that's extremely valuable throw, especially when
I signed Kenny Galladay.
Yeah, well, it's like an undefendable catch when done
even
right.
Shepard and Slayton. Yeah, it's a playoff throw, is what it is. It's a playoff throw. Now, I know the Giants don't have to worry about those lately, but that's a playoff type throw. And some of the Giants' best plays the past couple of years have been on those free plays. Like in 2020, when the guy would jump off sides, Giants didn't get as many because the centers didn't snap the ball like Nick Gates did. Shout out Billy Price. It was immediately, 20 yards back shoulder. And they worked almost every single time, even with Colt McCoy versus Cleveland. Whether it was with Shepard or Slayton. So it's something that worked and generated big plays, but the Giants were just scared, for some reason, scared of those back shoulder throws.
Scared of everything last year in offense.
Yeah.
We have a new QB coach as well.
I have no opinion on him quite yet. Literally, we haven't had time to look at.
Yeah. So let's stick more to the Senior Bowl. We'll have a Talking Giants episode that comes out Friday morning. I have a feeling we will draft the guard from Boston College. We talked a decent amount about him yesterday, but he had a whole other day of practice, and I think he continued to look solid. Right?
Zion Johnson from Boston College. If he's there round 2, he might be my get him, draft him.
He could easily sneak into the first round.
I'm having a mock draft video next week, and I'm gonna hope and I go by what the Draft Network simulator does. I'm hoping that Zion Johnson is able to fall to me in that round 2.
There are so many guys, and this is the problem that I'm having right now at the Senior Bowl. There are so many guys where I'm watching them. I'm like, ooh, I like you. Then I kind of just look up. I want to get an idea of, because I'm not smart enough to do this. I want to get an idea about where they're being projected to be drafted. And I'm seeing constantly 2nd round, 3rd round. A lot of the tight ends that we like, 2nd, 3rd round ish, right? Trey McBride 2nd round, Jake Ferguson I think 3rd round. Jermaine Johnson 1st, 2nd round. A lot of these interior defensive linemen they're all being projected around that first, second round territory. And I think, and even, the interior offensive line and Zion Johnson. So there's a lot of these guys right now that are in like the same cluster of how they're being evaluated. And it's going to be unfortunate when the Giants don't walk away with any of them that we like.
I have a question though. So if you did take Zion Johnson, would you play him at center?
No,
you wouldn't.
I think it's cool that he's getting center reps here and spending time after practice and working on the center, but he's a guard.
Okay.
He's going to be more valuable as a guard. He fits any scheme. If you want to run wide, like, for example, for a Brian Dable offense that wants to run both gap and zone, Zion Johnson is that player, because he is not like one or the other, like just totally better in one of those situations. I'm sure he's better in one versus the other, but he's going to be a really good guard. I'm a big fan of Zion Johnson coming out of this.
Question. Any concern with Zion's narrow set and forward lean? I saw him today lean and actually fall forward a few times. Coaching will help, I am sure.
I'd have to really break down film, which I'm going to with Zion Johnson. There will be a Zion Johnson film breakdown to this draft process. But here at the Senior Bowl, it's kind of, you're looking for stuff like that, but you're mostly like, let me look at this guy's feet and hands, and just the results of the plays that he's in.
Any late round edge sleepers? I'm also going to include interior defensive line.
Bring up Malone.
Oh, yes. So,
yeah,
our friend Malone, he's number 10 at the Senior Bowl. D'Angelo Malone from Western Kentucky. They have him listed as a defensive lineman. I guess they count defensive lineman as edge.
There's no edge in here.
There's no, but they don't count them as linebackers or interior. Okay, got it. So yeah, Western Kentucky. Our friend D'Angelo Malone made some really nice plays today. I mean, he's
yesterday too.
He's kind of lean. He looks a little skinny. I would have to, maybe look at his weight, but he made plays, making plays off of tackles. I know there's a tackle out of Louisiana.
Max Mitchell,
who was pretty solid, pretty good. He's got good hand placement. Robert Schmitz and I were talking about him today, and
he's really well coached.
Yeah,
which was interesting when with South Carolina, Kingsley Enagbare. He's won a lot the past 2 days, but versus Max Mitchell, he didn't, which is kind of okay. It's like, how is he going to be versus really well techniqued offensive linemen in the NFL that aren't relying on just their athleticism, aren't just relying on their technique type guys? Because Max Mitchell is one of those guys where they got really good technique, but does he have the athleticism, the body, the body to be one of those top guys? Even though I think Max Mitchell will be in the NFL for a long time, maybe not even as a starter, but even a backup.
Yeah. Let's see what else. James Cook has just
he's not here.
He opted out.
Yeah.
So
not here.
Devin
Lloyd's not here. Devin Lloyd was supposed to be the guy down there.
Yeah, I was so stoked on him, and that's a bummer.
Let's see.
He was. Remember, we talked about him on our way too early draft preview.
Yeah,
and we were both like, I don't know why this guy isn't talked about way more. He's really good.
Yeah,
and then this year he started shooting up the boards.
How did Kennard, the tackle from Kentucky, look
today?
Yeah,
you spent more on him today on those guys, but he's not going to play tackle in the NFL. So he has some bad reps, but he looks good. He looks like a good football player, but he's one of the players. He's to me the most worrisome player. I would really have to get to know this guy and kind of figure out why his technique, his hand placement is so bad, his feet are so sloppy, and really get to know him and know that he's going to work to fix those things.
Yeah,
that's one of those. If I'm a scout, if I'm the Giants down here and you get those personal meetings, I'm working. I'm trying to figure out Darian Kennard as a person. I'm talking to his coaches because he has talent to be a top half of the first round guard. He really does, but he just doesn't put it all together.
I'm looking at his teammate Luke Fortner, who I think was kind of a last second ad.
He was the center they added.
Yeah, the center, because there's just no centers that.
Yeah, it feels like they just kind of added him. Was he good today?
I mean, it was a guy that I looked at that I was like, I got to watch you and I got to see what you're about. Mm-hmm. So that was the note that I took from today. Any running backs you guys like?
I like Dameon Pierce. I thought Dameon Pierce had a really good day today out of Florida. He had a good day yesterday. I like him mainly because he's really talented, but also he played in a 3 running back rotation through all of Florida. So he has a lot of tread on his tires. I mean, he's not somebody who's burned out in college. And to close practice, the second practice today, they did a post-practice rep, and I did not record it, and I'm very mad about it. The entire group of guys were cheering him on after a lights out pass block rep against, I don't remember, but
a linebacker.
Yeah,
A linebacker.
but it was.
And those they do those drills, I guess. Like the guys who played the best that day, it's like okay, you guys played the best this day. Like let's put you one last one-on-one. Let's go best versus best in front of the whole team. Get the team amped up.
He took him out. I mean, what was it, like a 6 second
it was,
block?
and that drill is built for the linebacker, and he just stalemated him. Not only stalemated him at the stop, it was like moving. Like it was like an offensive. It was like a guard block almost.
Yeah.
Justin Schaefer, the guard from Georgia, I believe, was in on those last second reps at the end of practice.
Yeah, we couldn't tell if it was Schaefer or Sully.
No, it was Salyer. I'm pretty sure. They look very similar.
They do, and they have similar numbers, I think, too.
Yeah.
So Jamari Slayer, excuse me, or
Salyer.
Salyer.
I don't know.
Tough.
But the other running back, Rashad White out of Arizona State, who was the guy that I liked the most coming in. He had a really nice play, and Jake Ferguson, the tight end of Wisconsin, had a nice pin block to set that play up. But it was just a beautiful cutback from him where he was untouched going into the end zone.
Ferguson looks very
and the running the ball is so hard to do down here in these practices. Like it's just hard to run in practice. I mean, you can talk about guys being new down here. Linebackers being a little more downhill. Defensive linemen are getting a lot more rest, but also something like the offensive lineman's jersey are a lot baggier, and it's easier to grab offensive linemen from the defensive point of view. And for him to have that run, that was really nice. And Ferguson to kind of have that block, which is like, those are two of the guys I love the most coming in.
I'd love to hit a nasty spin move on Justin off the edge. Weird.
What's his name?
Brandon M.
Come on, Brandon M. Do it. If you join the $100 Patreon tier, we can set that up.
It's kind of, isn't it spin? I mean, Myjai Sanders did that yesterday against the big
Daniel Filio
against the tackle from Minnesota, 387. He started off with the spin move, and then he bull rushed him. I don't get turning your back to somebody. Like I would just.
He set
some
it up
coaches
with his previous
don't let
rep.
you do that.
Yeah.
Some coaches would like never spin.
Yeah.
Never ever spin.
He set that one up with his previous rep against him, where he just went around the edge. So that was, I don't know.
That's actually pretty cool that I noticed that where they go 2 times in a row. And I think that's pretty cool because if you want to set
I
something
like that.
up,
I like that a lot.
Because that kind of does simulate in game where one play.
The mind games are a huge part of the one-on-one. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've been here through 4 coaching staffs. None of them did that. That is something like if I would ever be an O-line coach, like that would in my brain, like one-on-one is do 2 in a row. Do 2 in a row. Like I really like that part. Like that was from the Jets staff.
That was a Jets staff.
I really like that for the Jets staff.
Yeah. Any wide receivers we can get in the later rounds? I mean, I feel like there's always wide receivers you can get in later rounds.
Yes. I don't know.
The wide receiver room isn't great, but who's your like number one guy? I think you like Calvin Watkins the most, and I think I might like Velus Jones the most.
Calvin Austin. I like Velus Jones the most. I think he's the most complete. Calvin Austin is probably the crispest route runner here, but the 5'7" thing is huge. I mean, it's really. He looked okay today. It didn't look like anything was thrown too high for him, but there's no way it's not going to be somewhat of an issue in the NFL level. But I don't think either of those guys are going to be late. I think they'll be like mid, right? I mean, also Calvin Austin returns punts, so that adds like very well.
I think Calvin Austin will go late because of the size.
Yeah,
and it is a weak wide receiver class down here. I can see Velus Jones going late too. Like the best receivers aren't here. That's another guy who opted out, Jahan Dotson. Like, there's no first or second round wide receivers I think down here. But Velus Jones Jr., he just does it the most. He kind of attracts the ball. He had some really good routes, and again, like he does it, he hits every spot of the field. Whether it's a stop and go route that he had a really nice route on, whether it's a dig, whether it's a curl, whether it's a whip route, like he just seemed to do every level of the game the best. And I was looking at their tracking times, like the fastest guys from yesterday. Velus Jones was, I think, either the second or third fastest. Now that's not perfect because not everyone got to run full speed at any point. Yeah. But Velus Jones Jr. was either the second or third fastest guys there. And he's a guy you could put on a bubble. Tennessee did it we put him on a bubble route and just kind of let him go. He's not like going to be Kadarius Toney or Tyreek Hill, but like he can make something to go. So Velus Jones Jr. is the receiver that I've enjoyed watching the most.
Yeah,
Who
I
are
think-
you? Next gen data. I didn't even get a chance to look at it yet.
I just saw the one tweet with the top 5 fastest guys.
Well, there's an email.
Yeah, we got an email.
About. There's a whole, I guess, data set, and I would kind of want to dig into it. I may tweet it out. How's Tyreek Smith from Ohio State? You know what's funny? Just reminded myself because I looked at all of the edge rushers heading into the Senior Bowl. I actually gave him, my Cold Stone Creamery scale of like it, love it, gotta have it. I've been a lot more tougher this year. I've been a lot more tougher this year with my scale, and I gave him a love it. I was surprised by that, but pressure percentage tells a much better story than the sacks, and he had a solid step, first explosiveness, and solid hands at the point of attack, keeping offensive linemen away from his chest. And he plays hard with a good motor. And if you play hard with a good motor, kind of like Jermaine Johnson, I'll automatically kind of like you. And especially if you show effort on the defense side of the ball, he's made some plays. I haven't specifically sat down and watched them, but I've seen sometimes that silver Ohio State helmet with a bunch of those. What are they? What are they on?
The Buckeye stickers?
Yeah, the Buckeye sticker. That kind of scared me there.
That scared the shit.
I just remember watching Sports Center one day, and it was the Ohio State basketball. And I'm talking as a kid, maybe 10, 11 years old, and there was an Ohio State basketball game, and you just finished in the Sports Center. Anchor goes, Buckeye! And me and my brother just died laughing for 5 minutes. It was just so random.
Put that on the news.
Buckeye! All right.
Yeah, so
sorry, neighbors.
Tyreek Smith, I've seen him make some plays, haven't specifically watched him, but when you can kind of stick out and be like, oh, you did something that play, I feel like that's good.
It's all you. I didn't see anything yesterday. I didn't watch them today.
Yeah, we didn't watch much of those. Me and Grump. I like that we're doing that because that actually helps.
Yeah.
Where it's I can lean on you. We can, yesterday, I didn't Valus Jones Jr. I didn't watch any of Valus Jones Jr. last year. And on 11-on-11, it's you can't just watch it. You have to focus on all right, this play I'm focusing on the left side of the offensive line. This play I'm focusing on Myjai Sanders. This play I want to see the QB in the pocket. So yeah, it's been good to really split it up. It sucks we don't have a day 3 to put all this shit together.
Yeah,
but we're still gonna try and break in. I'm going to show up and just see what happens.
Yeah. Oh, there's no harm in showing up.
With the no, I'm just kidding.
How is Malik Willis? We talked about Malik Willis in the beginning, and also we're going to talk about Malik Willis again when we have the Talkin' Football video that will be out tomorrow morning at 9:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I feel like I have to say that now since we're on a different time zone.
Yeah, you tweeted out the wrong time from the Talking Giants Twitter account today.
What did I say?
You said it was going to be at 5:40, and that's 5:40 here. And people were like, "Did this already happen?"
Oh,
but I like it because it got more attention because people correct it and it got more attention. So maybe you did it wrong on purpose.
Good for me. So yeah, Sean Sullivan, just watch the O-line discussion on Talking Football. Those guys are giving Talking Giants a run for your money.
On what?
Is he talking about us?
No, I think it's a joke.
Oh.
I think it's a joke. Hey, the guys at Talking Football are giving you a run for your money. Snacks, can you please come to the camera and just show off your fit? The camera's right there.
Oh my God.
Show them how incredible you look.
Can you see me?
Yeah,
No, you don't even need to be on my lap.
You got the track. You got the track suit.
Can I ask you for a favor?
I mean, you could ask.
Could you put on some shoes?
Could you take Grump's key card and go get me a couple Miller Lights?
Wow. Yeah, go get some Millers.
That's my bad.
We gotta order this. We gotta order this pizza soon.
Pushing.
Well, we'll do that once we finish the Robert Smith video.
3-3-1.
By the way, we're doing Simple Man Radio at 8:15, 9:15 Eastern
9:15
time.
Eastern Standard Time. Yes.
Just one for each person.
Yeah, so
Two
let
for each.
Let me give this
Keep
ad
carry
really
on
quick.
it?
Don't click off.
We have an ad?
Talking football videos coming
4.
tomorrow morning.
5. Just get 5.
Take it back.
This is very unprofessional.
It is.
Talking
It's
football
terrible.
video. It's going to be about a 20-minute video where we
Just take a fucking
recap the
bag.
day. Oh my God. And you're crumbling it. This is terrible. Terrible.
What are we doing tomorrow?
Pisses me off. Drake London.
He's not here.
He's not here. Okay. Are you guys? Let's see. All the which nice song did you sing last night that don't impress me much?
We'll talk about that on SMR, but karaoke was actually a pretty good time. I think part of it was no one at the bar cared about the karaoke, so it's just me up here, and I don't have to worry about anybody.
Who has disappointed you the most?
Well, because we switched position groups, I'm interested to see how some guys did today, but Ed Ingram is my huge disappointment so far.
Yeah, Ed Ingram. Ed Ingram really is the one. I will say, what's the guy's name? Raymond.
Bernhard Raymond.
Bernard Raymond. Not that he's been bad, but I was seeing people saying like he's a top 15 prospect coming into this, and this guy can be amazing, and he can be, but it's like he's got a lot of work to get to there.
He kind of does remind me of Matt Parrott a little bit.
I think he's a little more aggressive than Parrott, but he definitely, like, his feet are good. He just doesn't. He's got to get better at working. And again, he's new to the position. Like, he's new to the position. He's new to facing this competition. To be quite honest, from playing from Central Michigan, so not to totally. But I was hoping to like get some wow plays out of him. Not every play perfect. Get some wow plays, and they haven't been there. Let's see. On the D line, is there anybody?
No, actually, the interior defensive line today. This is something that I really want to touch on the Talking Football video because I know Robert and I were going to have a good back and forth on it. Neil Farrell Jr., Devontae Wyatt, John Ridgway from Arkansas. Those guys killed it.
Oh, Tito Agbanya?
Yes, and he was from the first practice too. So, there are interior defense. I feel like there are interior offensive linemen and interior defensive linemen that are just killing it versus like you look at the wide receiver versus DBs. I feel like, Robert talked about this yesterday where the DBs are a little bit more talented than the wide receivers. So and also the rain sucked today, but I feel like there's been a ton of really fun battles of O-line versus D-line and particularly the interior defensive line and the interior offensive line, not necessarily edge rushers and offensive tackles.
All right, we have to do some planning live on air. Robert Smith says he can't get here till 7:15. Should I tell him to not worry about it? And just tell him we're working against the clock and we won't be able to do it?
Correct.
Okay.
Or if you want to, you can record the recap without me, which I would be okay with.
And you can do your Patricia Traina somewhere else?
And I could do it in like Snacks' room or something.
Do we have enough equipment for all that?
Yeah. All I need is one mic, and you would have 3 headset mics.
Okay, but I'm going to... Just got to start.
Eric Uzukama, Texas Tech wide receiver. Definitely butchered his name.
Is he here?
I don't remember seeing a Texas Tech helmet.
Sure.
I gotta be honest.
If he's here, I didn't remember seeing him.
Sorry.
It's totally okay if you're asking about people that aren't here because I don't expect. I barely know who's here at the Senior Bowl. So Drip got Snacks. This is true. So Snacks, Mobile or Bergen County? We'll talk about that tonight. But think about your answer.
Simpleman Radio is going to be great.
Late?
So you don't want to do Simpleman Radio on the couch?
No, I don't, because I don't want to move this entire operation. Because
aren't we moving half of it to do the?
Because
potentially.
I would be the one who would be moving the operation, not you.
Well, we'll help you move it. You just got to plug stuff in.
Oh, lovely. Any late round inside linebackers you like? You know what? I actually haven't been watching a ton of inside linebackers. So maybe you guys
48 kid in a white helmet.
Chad Muma, Wyoming.
Jojo Duman from Nebraska.
Doman. I don't know.
Doman. I'm really bad with names again. So Jojo number 13 from Nebraska. He is really, really good in coverage. He's like one of these linebackers, and you're seeing this more and more. Like JOK did this at Notre Dame, where he's a linebacker, but he's also a safety, but also he plays most of his snaps at slot corner, which is bizarre. And there was an over-the-shoulder play that he made today. Like, there was a running back that had a ball kind of right in the breadbasket over the shoulder, but JoJo isn't even tracking the ball, but feels and anticipates when the ball's going to arrive, like on the sideline, sticks his hand in there, makes a play on the football, not a play on the ball carrier, the receiver, and then boom, that's a pass deflection. And he's known for being like a coverage guy, like a coverage linebacker. So he's a guy that really does entice me. He was getting coached up a lot in the run game. He wasn't asked to defend against the run at Nebraska since he was a slot corner. So I'm interested to see how his skill set like translates.
Two quick notes here. It's a little hard to tell on linebackers, especially in run plays, because it seems very scripted in the 11-on-11 when it's run. They all seem to know, and they're just crashing downhill immediately. Yeah. So it's kind of hard to judge that. The pass coverage is a little bit easier to tell with them. But also, like, I caution people to think, like, is there a late round guy you really like? I mean, like, if he impresses here and he continues to impress her at the Senior Bowl and then the Combine, he's not going to be a late round guy anymore. It's very early to be saying late, early, middle. It can all change very quickly.
Can
That's
I be
what this
real
is
with you?
for.
The running backs and the linebackers are the position that I put the least amount of stock of Senior Bowl stuff in.
Also true. Yeah.
Because one is just it's so much scheme fit. The coverages are just very basic, so there's no game planning in it, which is linebacker coverage that is a lot like week to week game planning. Those are the two positions where like nothing they do unless they just go nuts. They can do it, but those are the two positions where it's like the film is what's gonna like the Senior Bowl is not gonna like change my thoughts of you.
What group does it look like Shane is watching the most? So we did see Joe Shane yesterday, did not see him today. We didn't really see a lot of people on the sidelines because it was pouring the entire day.
It really did suck. When we saw him yesterday, it didn't look like where he was standing, he could see just about everything, but he was closest to the trenches.
Well, there was a point when you guys moved to the opposite end zone where he was standing in the end zone while Malik Willis and who's the UNC guy?
Sam Howell.
Thank you. Sam Howell, they were throwing the ball. So either, he's getting a look at the quarterbacks or he's getting a look at the wide receiver, getting a look at the DBs when they were all kind of playing against each other. So he was like the only one standing alone in like right by the goalpost. So that's where he was yesterday for a good portion too. Alongside also watching the offensive lineman, defensive lineman with Pettit and who I think is Tim McDonald.
It's good. He should be checking all this stuff out.
Yeah.
Kevin Abrams is here. We didn't see him, but he's here.
We heard.
How about any safeties you like? I know there's one guy you like.
It's so fucking hard to tell. But
Petrie, Jalen Petrie, not Petrie. Is it?
yeah, it's Petrie. Pitre. I think.
Petrie. Yeah, I just think of Petrie from Land Before
Yeah,
Time.
that's what I was thinking.
I remember when the one dinosaur who couldn't speak finally. That's how it went.
You're really making a lot of
He's not a
noise.
coverage safety, which sounds stupid. It kind of like sounds like an oxymoron. Not a coverage. He's a box guy, and he got Trey McBride had the play of the day to me. That contested catch where Kenny Pickett underthrows him, and is almost double coverage, and he just makes that catch. It's like that's why we love Trey McBride.
That's all that McBride has done so far is just make those contested catches where he's contorting his body in different ways.
Other note, people have noted a bunch of times that Trey McBride looks small too. He is 6'3" for a tight end is
He's
pretty small.
He's ripped though.
But also he high pointed that ball. It looked smooth. I
Yeah.
mean, he doesn't jump for no reason is something I noticed watching his tape. Like he will catch a ball in stride if he can. So I don't know. I'm not really all that worried about his height. Are you?
No, it's just the height is like it just sucks he doesn't have that extra
Correct, yeah.
attribute to his game.
If he's 6'5", do you think he's an automatic first round pick?
6'3". Oh, if he were 6'5", would you know?
6'5"?
I don't know if he has that straight line speed.
Yeah.
I don't think I don't think he'd be an automatic first rounder, but I can also see us looking back and being like, how the hell was the top 5 tight end in our game
I have
picked in the second, third round type
I
thing?
have that feeling about him, man. I just love him.
I do too.
What about because we were just talking about safeties? What about Brisker from Penn State? Is he here?
I don't think he's here.
I don't think he's here either. Yeah.
Well,
I think there
I
were
didn't
only
see
like
any-
two
I didn't
Penn
see
State
any-
guys here.
There's 3. There's Jesse Lakuta. Brandon Smith isn't here, and then
EB
17. Yeah,
EB Katie. Ooh, EB, he's looked pretty good.
Oh yeah.
he's
Arnold-
really
Arnold EB
both
Katie.
those dudes are super athletic
Yeah.
and like have great agility.
Lucetta is a little bit more of a project, but I love EB Katie. He's awesome. He's been making plays too. Tudo, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate
Smelly
you.
Eagles fans.
No, this is not about Eagle fans. It's just he's paying his proper respects to the entire team and the New York Giants nations around the world united.
He's from Italy.
That's okay. That's okay.
Made no
nope.
sense. So.
Not a Senior Bowl guy, N'Kobe Dean, but I think the bigger need with the first 2 picks. Yeah, we're not. So here's the thing. A lot of people are asking about the 5th and the 7th picks, and I'm ignoring those things on purpose. We literally have 3 months to talk about what we're going to do at 5 and 7. So
Yeah.
let's talk about the players that and I'm not getting mad at you asking the question.
Well, what about Malik Willis at 7?
Well, again, we have 3 months
know,
to
I'm just
debate
giving
that.
you a hard
We're just talking about what we're kind of.
I had a Malik Willis tweet, and I was like, I feel so dirty doing this right now, but I'm really happy with what he's doing right now.
Should be. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's been really good. We might have to just start the next video about him because let's just get into Malik Willis.
We've gotten 2 questions about any good punters, and I'm going to be honest.
We literally
Ban
in
that
the
guy.
rain.
Please ban that guy.
Whenever special teams goes on the field,
We literally leave.
I walk out of the stands.
I want no part of standing in the rain to watch punters.
I don't even
Even when it was sunny yesterday.
yeah, that's like all right. Let's check our phone and talk to each other when special teams.
But
is
yeah,
going on.
also like just sorting through all the horseshit that I'm recording and like trying to tweet stuff. Like it really is nonstop. We're kind of joking around, but the entire time we're doing it, like I was on my phone was at like 7% by the end of the day.
Has the I can't say
You say that to me, like it doesn't phase me at all because my phone
My phone's not
in
yours.
25 minutes will go from 100 to 7%.
I don't have an iPhone, so
right
Like
tackle.
it is like it's been plugged into this all day long.
Right tackle from Minnesota has he been as bad as clips and tweets have indicated?
No,
His
no, no, no.
one-on-ones have been bad, but he's never going to be. He's always going to be a player that looks worse than one-on-one. I'm going to have a film breakdown out on him tomorrow, and I'm going to talk about that because like it's to me, it's a very like deep. One-on-ones are favored towards the D line, and he specifically is one of those type players because he's going to be asked to do things that he's not going to do a ton in the NFL.
I actually kind of feel bad about that rep on Mijai Sanders that put him on his ass was actually supposed to be more of a compliment that he put Fulio on his ass.
Yeah.
For him, not it's because Fulio is a good player
And he's 387.
and he's 387 pounds. And he put it on his ass.
And Sanders
It's
is not a big
yeah,
guy.
yeah.
Favorite guy at stop chatting, everybody. Favorite guy at the Senior Bowl right now, regardless of what we need.
Jermaine Johnson, maybe,
Probably, yeah.
or actually, I'm going to say Zion Johnson, and I'll get rid of Malik Willis. Zion Johnson.
Grump.
I don't know if it's just recency bias, but I'm feeling the love for Chris Paul.
Yeah.
As my favorite. I don't
Wait, no.
It's not the
Are we
best,
are we
right?
saying favorite or the best?
It's a favorite.
Favorite guy. Yeah.
Oh, favorite
Just a
guy.
personal favorite.
So I'm not going to say Zion Johnson. Then I'm going to say, Neil Farrell Jr.
Neil
from
Jr.,
LSU,
yeah.
the defensive tackle.
Absolutely.
And that actually answers the question perfectly because the Giants don't need defensive tackle help, but he's been balling.
I mean,
Balling.
all right. So little Giants talk.
Like the movie?
We're actually, fun fact, snacks for Bleeding Blue. We're doing a Little Giants movie review this offseason.
Did you see it?
No, I have not. That's the point. Is that I'm going to watch it for the first time, and then we're going to talk about it. We're going to give a review. So that's Bleeding Blue. Every Monday, by the way, Bleeding Blue comes out. It's Giants History Show. First episode was really cool. What was I?
Little Giants. Yeah.
Giants. Do they? I think they need kind of interior D line help.
So we did talk about this. We did talk about this in the stands while we were doing this. As I think you can make a case that it's a good time to get one if there's one that you like, because I mean, there's no guarantee that Dex or Leo will be here, not this upcoming season, but the season after. And D tackle, it's not uncommon for guys to grow a little bit in the first year.
And Snacks calls the Giants D tackle U. I mean,
we went from D and U to D tackle U.
Yeah. So I do view a kind of a need, especially looking at how impactful Danny Shelton was in a negative way this year.
Oh, Danny boy.
When he was on the field, the Giants were allowing 6 yards per carry. And then when he wasn't on the field, the Giants were allowing 3.7 yards per carry. And that was a nice sample size of there was like 3 games which he was healthy, and then there were 3 games which he was hurt. And then that was the not on the field, basically almost double the yards per carry. So
Austin Johnson's a free agent, right?
Yes, he is a free agent. So there's no guarantee that he comes back. So that's why I'm viewing interior D line as more of a pressing need than we think. And also, like I'm saying this legitimately. This is coming from somebody who loves to throw the ball and stop the pass. If you had this theory last year, 2020, why 2020 was so fun and great is because when you have the guys up front that you can just trust to stop the run, then you can drop guys back into coverage, and it makes things easier to stop the pass. So that's why I think that those run stuffing defensive linemen, they are valuable at a certain price, and that is draft them.
Maybe Neil Farrell Jr. will end up in my mock draft next week. Can I say, you know how I talked about analytics like being like a word that is just kind of annoying at this point?
Yeah, but we're using data innovation now.
I know. I feel like mock draft needs that too. When I say my mock draft, I just feel like a douchebag.
Yeah. John Ridgway, Arkansas. So we're talking about all these guys that could possibly go like second, third round. Neil Farrell Jr. is a guy that could possibly go, I think, higher. There's also a defensive lineman from Alabama, Fadadrian Mathis from Alabama, who's looked pretty solid too. And obviously the guy from Georgia, Devontae White, I think he's going to go first or second round from what something's reading. But John Ridgeway, Arkansas, he's a pure nose tackle, and he just bull rushes and he's strong. He has that one move.
What did you guys think of Daphne, who ran the 4.440?
Grump.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Remember the woman security guard that was next to
Oh,
us? And she
is that
told
her
me
name?
she ran a
You didn't tell me that?
4.440.
Oh,
I thought she had
What are
some.
you talking
She,
about?
Just blatantly lied to me, the security guard. Her name was
effing with you.
Daphne.
She-
She was
were you-
very sweet.
worried about
She's a
copyright infringement?
she's a diehard Saints fan. I asked her if she's going to miss Sean Payton. She basically said no, like I don't.
Good
And
for
then I
her.
said, well, I was like, it's probably going to like losing a family member. And she's like, nah, I don't like the way he did it. And then I was like, well, Drew Brees, like that one, I bet you miss a lot. She's like, nope, I just love all the players equal. He needed to retire. When he got hurt, he should have retired. And I was like, how are you a Saints fan and not only is she just a Saints fan, because I at that point I was like, okay, she just likes the Saints, but she doesn't care. She is the head of the Pensacola, Mobile, Alabama Saints fan group.
I love
Oh
that
my
energy.
God.
I love that energy that she gave them.
you know,
I do too, but she kept on, and then she said she tried out for football. She ran a 4.440,
Well, you want
but
to
they
know what?
didn't. They wouldn't. Back then, they wouldn't let women play football.
I ran a 4.3240 last year, so
that's true.
That
so
is
there's
true.
precedent. Yeah,
I
she
need
might
to-
not be lying to you.
So we need to get Daphne a pro day.
I need to contact the sales team to see if Manscaped wants to sponsor that video again. If you want to sponsor my 40-yard dash video this year, hit me up.
Maybe Daphne will want to do it with her security company.
Let's do it. We'll do it in the rain tomorrow.
I'm not doing anything in the rain.
Hold on. Danny King just sent us a tweet.
Oh God.
Jim Harbaugh called Michigan to inform the school that despite the interviewing with the Vikings today, he will be returning to school for the 2022 season. Michigan was, in the words of one source, elated to get Harbaugh's decision. So I guess
Okay.
Harbaugh is not going to the Vikings, which means Patrick Graham may be going to the Vikings.
Told you.
You didn't tell me anything.
I said that this morning. I said, why the hell would he ever go to Minnesota?
Well, I wasn't listening to you.
I think he did. I think he's telling the truth.
All right.
Do you see the shock on my face? This was a contract move from the beginning.
Early Senior Bowl MVP, and this is my opportunity to say that we don't stay for the Senior Bowl game. I don't think anybody stays for the Senior Bowl game.
No, they don't. I would
Besides-
love to, but it's like apparently no one does, and it's on TV, so you can I'll watch it, and that's 2 more days of having to pay for hotels
Yeah.
and just But I would love to stay for it.
We got an Evan Neal question, but we have a lot of time to talk about Evan Neal and the guys at the top.
How far are we in right now?
We're approaching 43 minutes.
So 42 minutes.
We're approaching 43. Well, we're on the north side of 42:30.
Okay.
Let's see.
Let's get a couple more questions in.
Justin Tudo says our entire loved NY Giants archive content with all the details with snacks. So snacks.
Is this monetized, by the way?
Tudo, yes, it is monetized.
Okay,
on
you're the
both-
man.
on both channels. I made that mistake yesterday. Tudo loves Bleeding Blue. So please, I know. So thank you,
My
Tudo.
fellow Paisan.
You two are Italian, except Tudo's more Italian than you are. No offense.
You even did the better review on YouTube. Good job, Justin.
Thank you. I did very good today.
Did you see the quote tweet of like the Senior Bowl Day 2 winners? Anyone who went hard, and I quote tweeted with the "Born in the USA."
karaoke was very fun. If you want to hear more about our trip, I don't want to mess around too much on the stream. So
Yeah,
we're
we'll
going to do a
Simple Man Radio tease. Can we put the Simple Man Radio link in the chat?
Yes, we can. So I want you guys to talk about this next. Since Joe Shane likes to build his team with the draft, do you see the Giants drafting O-line heavy? Just
No.
no.
No, yes, we do. Although I do think you look at the Buffalo Bills, they feel confident that they can get offensive linemen not in round 1 and round 2.
I think the position that they draft the heaviest in is honestly defensive line and edge.
Yeah.
Like the first 3 rounds.
Yeah, I mean you got Rousseau, AJ Epinesa, who I'm not a fan of.
I was not a fan of Epinesa.
Ed Oliver. Well, no, here. Right,
Ed
so here-
Oliver was one
So
though.
here's the thing about Epinesa. People were. Oh my god! I
Epinesa.
just burped.
That was awesome.
I just burped. I just burped into the microphone. It was disgusting. People were talking about him as a first round prospect. They got him in the second round when they traded their first round. Well, they they had to trade away their first round pick to get Josh Allen.
Mhm.
So I think that's a little bit different.
Yeah, but he's also
Definitely.
hasn't lived up to the second round pick either.
Correct. But I mean, it's the same argument with Ojulari. It's like, well, we feel if we draft him in the first round, we would have hated it a lot more, but we drafted him in the second round, and it's like,
I feel like we got our money's worth out of it.
Yeah, but Aziz has been like pretty
He
good
is a
for
rookie
second
sack
round.
record.
no, but
now.
you're not understanding my logic. But
In terms of picking him, you mean just strictly
in
that?
terms of picking him.
Oh yeah, draft day, like that wasn't a horrible pick.
Yeah.
No one would have said that.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Except for Dolphins fans who remember AJ Epinesa versus Austin Jackson. Our film breakdown on that was the most hateful comments I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was really toxic.
It was just Bills fans versus Dolphins fans. I mean, we were being called like the worst things ever for thinking that AJ Epinesa, a game that he won the MVP and beat Austin Jackson. And by the way, Miami Dolphins fans, Austin Jackson sucks, and you know it now.
Austin Jackson. I was pretty disappointed. Roger McCreary is like the #1 DB to watch, and he left hurt today.
Yes.
I saw literally nothing from him. Just like there were some individual drills, whatever, but for team stuff, I didn't see him out there. And he was just standing on the sideline. He went in, and then they took him right out before a play was run because they like switched sides of the field or something, and then he went in the tunnel.
He made some really nice plays yesterday from what clips I saw on social media, and I was like, that's a guy that I would want to direct somebody if they were watching the DBs. I kept on saying,
I was really
where
sorry.
is he? Where is he? Where is he? And then
He was on the fucking side.
I was really hoping Michael Coe would help us with the DBs. Channing Tindall, the linebacker from Georgia. Great day. And I met his father in the elevator. So
Nice.
first round pick. I told him we keep our eye on him. I should have lied to his dad and said I work for the Arizona Cardinals. And he fucking sucks. No. Let's see. What time we can get rolling? Let me read my text message. Our Senior Bowl group picture looked a lot different today versus yesterday.
Yeah, it wasn't as fun. I looked like I had bangs. I looked like I was like emo.
I honestly thought you were taking a video, and I thought you were gonna like sweep around. So I was like waiting until the last second to jump, and I was like, "Oh, he's taking a picture."
Could be worse. Could just be your forehead.
All right, I think questions are kind of dying down. Were there any edge players that stood out to you? So we talked about some edge guys. Jermaine Johnson's a guy that sticks out. Arnold Ebiketie is a guy that sticks out. Tyreek Smith is a guy that sticks out. Myjai Sanders is a guy that sticks out. So there are edge players that are doing a good job this Senior Bowl. They were good kind of heading in, and then they're kind of helping out their case a little bit. So we talked about them a little bit earlier. Maybe we'll circle back on the Talking Football video that will be out tomorrow morning, 9:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, where it's going to be like a 20-ish minute video of Grump, Bobby Skinner, and Robert Schmitz of Windy City Gridiron. Am I saying his last name right? Schmitz?
It's Robert Shitz.
Excuse me. Robert Schmitz of Windy City Gridiron. They're going to be recapping day 2, and that'll be on the Talking Football channel. And it's a lot shorter than this live stream, and it's better for rewatchability.
Watch Simple Man Radio. I feel like we're gonna have a good time.
Reliving the good time that we had last.
Yeah,
night.
gonna need to find out who cursed you and Snacks out on Simple Man Radio. Nobody cursed us out; they just cursed at us. Like like this is cursing me. This is me cursing Snacks out. Fuck you! I fucking hate you. Blah 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 blah. Like that's me. That's cursing somebody out. We did not get berated.
Fuckers.
Yeah, we were called fuckers. It was actually really funny.
I'm actually pissed.
No, you're pissed.
No. I'm not pissed. He called us. I'm pissed. We didn't get to do what we wanted to do.
Well, yeah, I unintentionally did it, and I wasn't planning on it, even though I wanted to, and I'm glad it happened. Did you guys talk about no? So Shea Tierney is going to be on the Friday podcast. So we're recording that Thursday.
We got to
night.
do research.
We got to do research on him, but no, we did not talk about it. This is a Senior Bowl live stream, but we will get to it on Friday's podcast.
All right, that's a live stream. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow because at this moment we're not allowed into practice because of the weather.
Benjamin Romine wanted me to say his name.
Benjamin Romine.
Wait, this is a good way.
I think he's a Patreon.
This is a good way to leave it off. Sam Beal, thoughts?
Sam Beal. That's what I should have hit John Smealk with. Was like Sam Beal thoughts.
They went, oh.
That's like a very deep cut of Talking Giants because not only was it when we were smaller, but it was in like the absolute dead time of the offseason.
Yes. So Cheese Whiz, you're the man.
Like if I say Sam Beal thoughts,
I
does
had
that
no
mean
fucking
anything?
idea what you're talking about now.
Yeah, we basically just kept on. We and some other listeners just were calling into Big Blue Kickoff Live we're just like, Sam Beal, thoughts, and it just totally throws them off. They're like, what? Like, I think he's a corner that it's just Sam Beal, thoughts, and just throws them off.
What's wrong with the Chromebook? All right, let's end this.
All right. That's a live stream. Check out Simple Man Radio probably around 9:15 Eastern time. Make sure to check out the Talking Football video that'll be out tomorrow at 9:15 Eastern time. Well, we're doing 9:15 p.m. and 9:15 a.m. Just write 9:15 on your forehead, and you'll be remembered to do that. And make sure you when you brush your teeth. So you'll probably brush your teeth at like 8:30, and you'll see that 9:15. That's when you're going to be listening to this group of guys.
Write it backwards.
Yeah, you got to write it backwards if you're going to look in the mirror.
No, I think we can all put 2 and 2 together. Like, I remember the time that I wrote it on there.
I can't.
It's just more. Like, you don't even have to say 9:15. You can put on a star. So all right, that's a live stream. We'll see you guys whenever we do. We'll see you tonight on Superman Radio. Let's go Big Blue.
Thank you for the super chat, Tudo.
Stop giving us money, but thank you.